Are you ready?
Oh, I'm nervous.
Hello, welcome back to In Between with Mandy. Yeah. Today we have Helen Hobson with us. She is currently Madame Jury on Phantom. Also, always a dog mum, a mother, a wife, a wonderful actress, and a very strong and kind-hearted woman. We all love her very much.
Oh, thanks. That's a lovely little introduction. Oh, blushing.
Go
Oh, a
ahead.
cat mum. Do you say cat mum?
No.
Yeah, I got my
also
two
cat mum.
cats.
I did
Oscar
not know
and
that.
Nina. Yeah.
I drew your little dog.
Oh, Ryder. That is Ryder. Look, that's so cute. I love him. I love a bit of colouring.
Here you go.
Oh, you've actually got gorgeous acrylics.
Like little marker pens.
Oh, they look nice.
Well, to start with, Martin has a question for you.
Oh, does he? Oh, go on then.
He asked, why did you lick him in the ear?
Oh, yeah, this is a story he tells. He said,
did it happen?
Well, I don't think it did. Although my memory is possibly not very good. But anyway, back in 1987, he was in the wings, and I would have been in the wings in Chess, which was at the Prince Edward Theatre. And he was the ASM then.
I know, that's crazy.
I know, amazing. And I was in the pop choir. He was very popular.
Really?
Very popular. Definitely the love interest. But he wasn't my love interest, but I really liked him. We got on very well. And he tells this story that I remember one day, Helga, you put your tongue in my ear. And I have to say, okay, yeah, great. It doesn't sound like me back then. I mean, you've seen the pictures of him, have you? Yes. He's a gorgeous man now, come on. But years ago, he was quite something. So he was very, very handsome young man. So, I mean, I'm not denying it particularly. I just can't remember ever doing it.
Okay. It's a story that nobody knows if it's true.
No. And why, if I had why, it would be because he's lovely.
I wanted to ask, what are some achievements that you're most proud of? You finishing Total Warrior, being a mum, being a qualified therapist.
That is so funny you've said that. Finishing Total Warrior.
Yeah. You posted that earlier.
I did. I did finish that, didn't I? Yeah, that was June last year. Yeah, I'm very proud of myself for that. That was a good moment. Yeah.
You qualifying as a therapist.
That was 2024. I finished my last week of college, and it was on a Wednesday, the 3rd of July, and I think that was our first week of rehearsals. We had a music week or something, and I had to get the day off at some point, and it was because I was going to be opening in a West End show as I was finishing my college work. And then in that August, when we'd opened, that was me being a fully qualified therapeutic counsellor. Yeah, which was just a massive achievement for me, because I am not an academic girl in the slightest. I never was. School was so tough for me. So to have something like that was great, which came out of COVID, going to an evening class on a Tuesday evening with a mask and loads of us sitting in a room or far away, all that strange thing. And it was just, I kind of did it to have 2 hours to myself, to try and stay connected to other people. My industry felt totally disconnected, and I wasn't sure.
You were not working then?
No, not at all. I had 2 jobs in 4 years. Yeah, it was a really tough time for me financially. And I didn't do it out of kind of, all right, I'm going to become a therapist. It was just to connect. And it was about communication. And I thought, well, that's my work. And yet the world kind of wasn't really communicating in the way that I knew it. So I think that was unconsciously maybe what and why I did it. And then I did a 15-week course at West Meria counselling college, and it was there. That's when I decided I think I want to take this really seriously, and I decided to stay on eventually for the 2-year professional qualification, but with a lot of help. I mean, I got so much help because it was while I was there that one of the tutors suggested, because of my work, because of the state of my folder, the state of my essays, the chaos that I brought, I was okay kind of in the room with the improvising and being a counsellor and that kind of stuff, but my learning and my revision and my memory and all that was chaos. It was really chaos. So they asked me, was I ADHD? And I'd never really considered it, didn't know anything about it. It wasn't until a year later that I did look into it, and I got diagnosed in that summer of 24 as well. Yeah. Yeah, so it was big changes, but I managed to get it. Managed to get qualified. Yeah, I was so thrilled.
Such a big achievement.
So that's because I'm proud of that. The main thing I'm proud of, I think, is being a mum. Yeah, to my daughter. Yeah, she's incredible, and it took a long time for her to come into the world. So yeah, for us we had a lot of challenges. So to have her, and she's a teenager now, so
yeah, it's a long journey.
Yeah, and I guess proud of having this year 40-year career in theatre.
Congrats!
Mainly, yeah.
How have you found it looking back?
How long have you got? It's very hard to think that it's been 40 years because I'm so different to you, who's just so young with respect to starting out, and yet I'm kind of working alongside you and working alongside younger people in the company, and I just feel the same. I don't feel different.
Yeah,
it's so bizarre, and yet it's happened, hasn't it? It did happen. It is still happening. It's the weirdest thing.
I think that's inspiring because I think, will I have a career in 40 years or even in 10? And then I look at you guys and I think maybe it can happen, and just starting off is quite scary at times, not knowing where you would go next. Can I have family alongside this career? Is so up and down.
No, that's true. And I think, with that choices, isn't it? Because so much of this is all consuming career, and you kind of give up your life to become an artist. And I don't know about that. I think I'm very privileged to be living in a time where mental health is now being spoken about, and I'm passionate about that, hence the career kind of addition, not change, but addition. Whereas, of course, years ago, 80s, 90s, we just put our big girl pants on and we just got on with it, and you just kept going, and you didn't talk about it as much. Having said that, I did have therapy in the 90s, and I was with an amazing therapist for about 5 years. And that was a huge learning curve for me, and I'm so grateful for that time. And I think back to her words often, and I think she had an impact probably on me wanting to become a therapist as well. But that managing a career alongside life, like you said about wanting to have a family, why can't you? Why does it feel to you then that you might have to kind of give it up in order to do it?
Stable career to be able to have children and have time. My partner.
I mean, I suppose, therefore, for speaking personally, it's no surprise. I didn't meet my partner until quite late in life. And,
how did you meet him?
In Mamma Mia.
Oh.
Yeah, he was on the crew. So yeah, and these long-running shows, of course, that's also a new phenomenon in my lifetime, because that Chess was in its second year when I was in it. I was in the third cast of Les Mis back in '88. So for me and for Martin, everything was just starting. Phantom was opening in the same year that I graduated. So this idea that the shows are long running and you can kind of keep a career going because you're going to also stay in the one show, which some people did for a long time, and they did in Phantom too, didn't they? That idea is not a thing. You just, Rep was still happening. You were going off to do Rep. It was very unpredictable, but there's this new style of the fact that there's a possibility of a rolling contract, which I don't adhere to. I know my contract is only for that time, and then it's going to finish. Oh yeah, but you might get asked to stay. That I cannot entertain that almost, because that's when it finishes.
So you're very used to changing. And
this is the first time I signed on for a second year. Even though I've done Mamma Mia lots of times, it's different times. So the very first original international tour in 2004, Judy Kramer came to see us, Geraldine Fitzgerald and Joe Monroe and I. We were doing Donna and the Dynamos, and she plucked us from the touring international company and asked us, will we open in the West End? So I did that job for a year in the West End.
Only a year.
And only a year for me then, because I wasn't asked to stay on, even though the producer had asked me to come and headline this company here, you know what I mean, with Joe and with Jerry. So then I left, and I went over to do Blood Brothers at the Phoenix Theatre. That was fun, but I didn't do Mamma Mia then until 2012. So Isabel, my daughter, was born in the February, and I was back in the Lycra and breastfeeding in the summer. So that was 2012 to 2013, and I was only asked to stay for a year. And I went on to do, it was fantastic. We did Sound of Music at Regent's Park, and Charlotte Wakefield, who was one of the original cast members of Spring Awakening, she was my Sophie in Mamma Mia, and she got to be my Maria in this amazing production at Regent's Park. Yeah. So that was 12, 13 for Mamma Mia, the long running show where people could get their contracts renewed, but I didn't. And then the next time was on tour, the UK tour, 17, 18. For me, it is a matter definitely that when I see it's just that contract, whether I'm going to be asked or not, I can't think like that. And so last year was actually a hard decision to decide to stay on. I'm so glad I loved every minute of it. It's been absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Our company's so special.
Yeah, it's so nice.
Yeah, it's been amazing. So I don't know, where have we gone like all around the houses for that
No,
question?
I feel like you've hit like all the main bits. I feel like it's such a blessing in disguise to be able to do so many shows because you don't stay long.
For me, isn't our job about reinventing and doing different jobs? But it was never stable because it was always finishing when the contract was going to finish. There's no guarantees. So it's whether or not you can sustain that. And somehow for 40 years I've been able to.
You've always managed to land on your feet and do something else after.
There's been big gaps, or 4 years for COVID. Before that, I think my longest time out of work from a theatre show was about 6 years. When I would do sort of maybe small teleparts or concerts. I did what was a massive show called Heathcliff with the gorgeous Sir Cliff Richard, and I was Kathy to his Heathcliff, and it was a huge tour, and it was just absolutely major for me. But then after that, and we got slated in the press. People didn't like it. It was one of the biggest, fastest selling musicals ever. I think it broke all box office records. It was 96, 97. So I went from playing Clara in Stephen Sondheim's Passion at the Queen's Theatre into this big rock pop kind of musical. And for me, it was incredible. I had the best time. I met the best people. I've got lifelong friends from that show, including Cliff. He's such a sweetheart, so generous. Really not much after that. And I'm not sure if people thought maybe I was too expensive, because we did all get paid a lot of money on that job. It was a fantastic job. But also the creative part of it, that, oh God, that turkey. People just didn't like it. And yet it was sold out and it was incredibly successful. Mainly, I guess, because of his fan base, though. That was difficult, but I'm definitely always somebody who is on the front foot. I will go and find something to do. So I did a course on mosaicing. So for a while I had a stall. I live near Chislehurst in southeast London. I was making mosaic tables. My dad taught me how to paint and decorate. So I borrowed a scaffolding tower from Crewe in the West End, and I painted agencies' offices in the West End. Called myself the Painted Ladies. I've done so many other jobs in between in order to wait for the next one. My lovely next door neighbours, they have a great building company, Foreshores, and I used to work for them, and during the summer time and the holidays, because they go in and do big contracts in schools. And I remember sanding down old science room tables because kids had written graffiti on it, so we had to sand it down and revarnish. So I would do that for jobs. I don't know, there's been long periods of out of work, because you only ever get to hear the amazing jobs you do, don't you? Not necessarily the ones that you didn't get. And then the longevity is hard. For me, I think it's find something that you're equally passionate about, maybe. I still love painting and decorating stuff. Health and fitness for a while. I got qualified as a boxercise instructor. We did a one for you, didn't we? We had a session.
Would you teach that?
Did. I had a fit club, and I got my level 2 gym instructor and my exercise to music class. That was probably around 2016. I was studying to be a PT when I was on the road with Mamma Mia.
I loved
it. I loved it. Just, I think if something sparks my interest, I really go for it. But of course, now I realise a little bit about that striving, that I don't mean to say it's the negative side, but the constantly moving, the wanting to improve, the perfectionism maybe is something linked with the neurodiversity side, that my spicy brain will take me that. When I was in chess, I went back to Middlesex Polly's, it was then. I did my speech and drama teaching certificate there. Because I thought after getting chess, which was my first West End job, I just thought I might not work again. Let me get an ology. Let me get some kind of qualification. Yes, I went back to Mountview, which was my old drama school, teaching there. Being in a room, being able to, work with students. I go back to the most glorious drama school, LSMT, London School of Musical Theatre. And they invite me back every year. Sorry, I haven't been able to see you for a couple of years because I've been doing Phantom. I've been to Arts Ed, Mountview, all over, doing acting through song and audition technique and that kind of a thing. And I love that. don't know that it is teaching almost. It's more being inspired by another actor, another singer, and then saying, I'm thinking of doing this for an audition, what do you think? And you going through the story with them and finding out what their motivation is, and then freeing them up. I do a lot of kind of somatic work about, finding your true voice, maybe, getting physical with it. I remember a crazy dance lesson once. I pretended to be pregnant, got them to hold on to me, and they were taking care of me, these students. They were really taking it, and I would say, sing now, and they'd have to, and they were somehow so into the ground and so like with me. It was earthy. It was, they made this big, this big free kind of sound. And of course, and I said, well, I'm not actually pregnant. And now recreate that sound now. Go. And we have a pianist. And they find this free, natural voice without, coming to the center, and I'm going to be singing something from something or other. This held kind of sound or whatever that they had. And we did this freeing up somatic work. So yeah, I love that. Because it's your voice is natural. What would it be like if you just, boy, that's your free chest voice. So once you find it, then you can, of course, there's many people more technically skilled than me that can explain and really fine tune it for you. But for you to be able to just experience that, like letting go of a voice. I love that part.
Bringing something out of someone. I suppose circling back to when you first found out you have ADHD, do you think that really helped you explain things and moving forward?
I mean, the automatic answer is yes, but God, it's like a roller coaster even now. There is relief from it because it made a lot of sense about childhood and failing so much academically. So tax now. I have a bookkeeper and I have an accountant. Because that's not my skill set. I need help around that to make sure that I'm following the law, and I can't do it. So anybody that does their own tax or VAT or any of that stuff, all hail. I think it's 2007, in the 2000s, that whoever they are, the scientists discovered that, ADHD could be also visible in people who are presenting female. So there was no evidence to suggest that females did have ADHD. It was all swayed towards the male, and the test is only for people who identify as male.
That's
so now, I know, and that's so recent. Females, it tends to sort of present in such a different way to the typical little boy that I knew that was running around and being disruptive. And I wasn't that naughty child. I was a good girl. I was conformed, but was it good? Was it masking? Was it trying to do the best thing? Also, my dad was blooming headmaster of my primary school. My mum was a teacher there, so the pressure was on. But I was really good at music. I got my flute, grade 8, I think, when I was 12 or 13.
Wow.
I was always paired with another lad at school, and he would be great at the piano and I would be the flautist. We would be dragged out for school ceremonies and concerts and stuff. But I failed my music GCSE.
Because it's written in exams.
Yes, exams. I can't do that.
That's not fair.
No. So that's really interesting, and it was because of my music, being a flautist in the local Weston-super-Mare orchestra, that the wife of the MD, she said, will you come and do a review? A few of us were picked out of the orchestra to come and do this 40s, 50s review at the Weston-super-Mare Playhouse. And I loved it. We did rehearsals, we were singing, we were dressing up. It was the first time I'd ever done anything like that. She was the one that said, you've got a great singing voice, Helen. Would you like singing lessons? As somebody I know, have you thought about drama school? So I went along, I had a go.
And then, unfortunately, the audio cut out. So from this point onwards, Helen dives into her experience in drama school. One time, she was called into the office and she didn't know what to expect because she was a really good girl and student in school. This is the conversation.
I had this big belting voice. So Les Mis is just starting, isn't it? Those early years as well. But so you could get that. Ethel Merman had been doing it for years. She's got a chest voice. Barbra Streisand are doing it for years, but suddenly we've got Eponine type sounds and all that kind of thing. We've got Florence in chest. Nobody's and nobody's sad. We've got this big belt voice. I could do that stuff. So he saw something in me, and he could see that I could act because I was quite timid. I was very overweight. I wore glasses. Couldn't say boo to a goose. I was having a lovely time. Maybe I wasn't taking it seriously, So I've thrown that in there, and I'm aware I've said image. So he did not directly tell me to change my image, but we were definitely in that ballpark, which you could never do now. And I'm very grateful for the fact that we would not be having that conversation. But he was asking me what did I want to do and about my attitude, and to kind of put myself together as if I was creating a business proposal. Because in this business, it's us. We are the package. Yeah. So he kind of put it to me in business terms. Then, okay, show me kind of thing. What have you got? So I went to town on the organisation, which of course I hadn't done. And now I know I'm neurodiverse. Now I know how difficult that was. So I got my rep in order. I made sure that I knew I had a comedy song, a ballad, an up-tempo. I did all the research on who was directing what were the houses, what were the producing houses, what was this. I went in with a real business mindset. When I left drama school, I did get an audition for Theatre Llewellyn in Aberystwyth when I played Mary Magdalene in Jesus Christ Superstar. The year before, Michael Ball had starred in a musical, and then now he was in Les Mis. Yeah. So I got an audition for Les Mis, but I didn't get that. I got Chess. So I started working in Chess, which was for Robert Fox. And then I said, well, can I go and audition again? Because that's the Cameron Mackintosh house. Can I try and audition for him? Got that. I'd been to see Blood Brothers, which had been open a year, and I said, well, that's a Bill Kenwright house. Can I, business-wise, I need to introduce the product, which is me, to them. So can I audition for that? And my agent said, no. You've just got yourself a second cover Fontaine. You've got a line in Les Mis. It's the third year that's been running this show. You've got a year's contract. Yeah, I know, but I think I could play Mrs. Lyons and I could be Mrs. J in Blood Brothers. So she said, well, I'll get you an audition, but you won't be able to leave. So I got the audition. Pretended I was from Liverpool. Don't ever do that. Don't do that. I pretended. I went in and talked to Bill Kenwright as if I was like from Liverpool. And he said, come down here, Bill. He said, where are you from? He started asking me where I was from. I was like, Somerset. And he was like, your accent's good, but don't ever force me to do that again. You've got to recall it. So I was like, oh my God. And I even sang a song from the show, which don't ever do that. Don't sing the song from the show. Anyway, and I got the role, Mrs. Lyons.
So then you left Link.
So my agent had to phone up the Cameron Mackintosh house and say, could she break her contract? No. So Bill Kenwright spoke to Cameron and bought me out of Les Mis and broke my contract, and he let me go, and I went to star as Mrs. Lyons in the second cast of Blood Brothers.
Oh, you must have been very good.
I don't know about that. I was cheeky. I was definitely cheeky. But then Michael Ball had moved over the road himself. He was in a show called Aspects of Love, which was at the Prince of Wales Theatre with a beautiful actress called Anne Crumb, and she was playing Rose for Bear, and I went to see that, and I called my agent and I said, I'd love to get on the train.
Oh.
I want to be on the train.
So like,
this is the really useful company.
I want to be like you. I'm gonna do that. Put me on.
But why not? But isn't that
I just think I'm not gonna get it.
But why? But I might not have got it. But what's the hassle? What are you gonna do? Can you get me that? What kind of relationship are you having with your agent? It's like, I've just been to see Aspects of Love. Please, could you get me? I really see myself being on the train. Helen, you've only just got Mrs. Lyons. Yeah, but the contract's only for a year. So when are they recasting again? So she would do the research, find out when they were recasting, but there was only an ensemble part going, and she said, it's ensemble, Helen, you're playing a principal part now, and understudying the lead, so do you want to go into the... I'm like, yeah, because that's Angelo Weber, and I've not worked for him. Yeah. I've worked for Robert Fox, I've worked for Cameron Mackintosh, I've worked for Bill Kenwright, now I need to go and work for Angelo Weber, because the product needs to be out there and known. So I went in, got the job a year later, and auditioned for Rose, and got Rose, which is the one I wanted, and met one of my bestest friends, Francesca, and she got what she wanted, which was Giulietta. Oh, because you're in a business relationship. You pay them whatever it is, 10% of your wage to help you in this business, and they work alongside you. I've only ever had 3 agents. In the 40 years. For me, all of them absolutely fantastic, and all being able to speak to me and cultivate a relationship even when things are not great. If I'm worried now, I want to be able to call an agent. Equally, I want my agent to be able to say to me, I'm really sorry, Helen, I haven't got any time to talk to you now. Can we pick this up another time? Is everything all right? Which that's what they do. Yeah, everything's fine. Just I wanted to go through some stuff. No problem. Do you want to pop it in an email? I'm sorry to cut you short. I have to go. Yeah, so this is what I think, going back to what lovely Peter Cox said, instilled in me, is about what my responsibility is to the product, you know? The product is Helen Hobson. What are we going to do with that? Like, what does Mandy, the product, want to do? The contract will come to an end at that point. So what are you auditioning for? Can you get me an audition for this? You know, who's that amazing choreographer? Matthew Bourne. Sort of gone a little bit into kind of our musical theatre-y world. Have you got an audition for that company?
Yeah, I have been seeing this.
There you go. She's doing it already. We don't have to worry.
It would be lovely to be there.
And I remember, starting out, I went for lots and lots of auditions. Probably in hindsight, some that perhaps I shouldn't have gone to, that I wasn't appropriate for, but I knew I wanted to meet that person. I wanted to make a good impression, and I wanted to connect with them. And I would choose a song, and I would talk about the piece. I'll say I wasn't a soprano, but it was a soprano role, and I've picked something that is my range, and I feel it shows off my soprano qualities. Okay, there's a top E flat in there, and say I couldn't do that. Madame Jury has one of those, so I think I can. But do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So I would talk around it. I would say the reason I've chosen that is this, and then they're going to do it anyway, because they're going to say, could we do some scales, Helen? And I'm either going to be right or wrong. But actually, Helen, could we see her for the different? Could we see her for the other part? And that's happened a lot for something. I'll come in for something, and they'll go, would you mind reading this? And then suddenly I'm reading a different part. Or, honestly, Helen, there's nothing in this for you. I'm so sorry, but it's been so great to meet you. And then I'll meet them another time.
Yeah.
And I was a bit of a letter writer. Thank you so much for the opportunity of meeting you. I welcome the opportunity of coming in to discuss my future career. I am currently in. My last college thing was, I sent my CV and I got all my little photos printed out.
Yeah.
It was a business. This is my rose gold pen. I've hand sculpted it from a horse's hoof. You know what? You know. I mean, I always wanted to work at Regent's Park, and I just hadn't got in there, and suddenly I was there.
It is lovely. That
Beautiful. It was the most extraordinary experience. Amazing job. But yeah, I encourage you.
Yeah.
And what's the worst they're going to say? I used to go to the open calls for so many things that I didn't want the jobs for, to get the experience of rocking up to sing my song. Go for the job. Somebody's going to say, oh, Helen, don't do that, because it's going to piss off the people that are giving the jobs. Okay, but it's my career. I need to practice, I need to create something. Or one of our gorgeous cast members, Zoe, created a beautiful panel. And I think so lovely, Andrew has, so that you get live feedback. There are these, you did?
Yeah.
Did you sing?
Yeah.
There you
It
go.
was terrifying.
Brilliant.
I was like near tears.
Good for you.
I was so scared.
What did you sing?
I sang Journey to the Past.
Was.
Then I thought, I'm gonna let you down, and it really got to me. But then I did it again. They they gave me technique, they gave me grounding thoughts, and it was just I thought I need to do this more often.
Yes.
Yeah.
You must. The more you do. Come in here. Bring a song in here. Press play on your phone.
Get Mike to play.
Yes.
Something.
Let's do that.
Sing in front of people.
Yes. Just keep doing it. Yeah. And also let go of the end result. I may not be Cameron's vision this time. I've worked for him before, twice now, and I'm going to go up for another show of his again. I hope that will be lovely. So when I do, thanks very much, Helen. I get the call from the agent. It wasn't quite yours today. Job is either mine or it's not, and it's your artistic vision. And I can let go of I can walk out of the room, and hopefully, I've done my bit, and that's it. But I got to meet so and so. There was always a thank you so much for my recent audition. It's practice, the art of conversation, and also just being yourself. I was nervous before you came in. I made notes about what I might say today. Because I got nervous. We all get. This is my notebook. Who does a notes that I'm nervous about?
I just write when I overthink.
I write so much.
I write so much.
Because I get scared. So we all just need to practice. That's okay. That's why we're creative. I think we can always be learning.
Yeah. And I do feel like I'm not as talented as these other people, or I'm not as brave.
But I'd ask you to examine your evidence. That person said this, or that person is. Yes, that person is actually more talented than you. Because no. That's not true. Our thoughts are so present in our minds, but we need to check in what is really true and say, well, that's how I feel. Not denying that there's not fear there or worry. I don't want to take that away. And then your defense mechanisms will kick in, and then your patterns of behavior will kind of kick in, and you'll stay safe and you'll stay in your comfort zone. Might it be like just to go to that audition, just to try and fail? and fail, but I did it again. You said I did it again, and it was so much better the second time, and it'll be better the next time, better the next time. I think identity is wrapped up a lot in this job, and when you're not working as an artist, what am I?
Yeah.
And I remember feeling that when I wasn't falling pregnant. So I'm not working because I need to be at home because I'm having fertility treatment, and I'm not an actor, I'm not that. I'm not a mother yet, so I'm not that. What the fuck am I? You know what? Identity is huge, I think, and I really want to find out more about that, because when people are in a job, then they kind of come alive. But you're not less than just because you're not working or you didn't get that job. Of course it's wonderful and it's exciting when you get that job and you're earning the money and you're doing the thing and you're progressing. But when we're not, and our careers are so short, it's just the year, or it's just a 1 day filming. What are we in between then? Are we nothing? When I get a job, and then I know it feels like that. I know it does, because I can feel the same. But I work very hard to not live in that world and to have something else as well, and to find the grounding exercises and to check in on my brain. Is that really true? And also to sit in the sadness and to journal about it and go, well, why am I disappointed? And then to talk to people. I have a therapist, myself. So that is a big part of managing the longevity of this career, I think. And for anyone with the stop-start of it, how do you not let that and make your own self kind of disappear? It's not easy.
Because I think I've never looked at my friends who are searching for jobs differently because they're not in a job. The reason also why I kind of called the show In Between was like knowing what's in between you and the stage. Who are you as a person? What do you feel passionate about? You're not just Madame Jerry, you're also like all these things who you always are.
So you have that same thought. You're absolutely right.
I think this industry is so like up and down. People get afraid that they're nothing if they don't have a job. Which I also get afraid of.
Of course.
It's knowing that to other people you're not just a character, just a job. You're also this person who people value, whether you're employed or not.
Absolutely. And it's all very well doing that, isn't it, for other people, but how do we do it for ourselves? And it's reclaiming that inner cheerleader for ourselves, to help that part of ourselves that can over-catastrophize, overthink. I have a lovely friend in New York called Bill. We did a production of Tommy together, the first European premiere of Tommy, and he played Uncle Ernie. And he says to me sometimes, "Are you going down a rabbit hole? Are you in the rabbit hole?" It's like the rabbit hole of doom. Yeah, but what if this and one? Stop right there. He says, "Not only are you in the rabbit hole, going down, spiraling, catastrophizing," he says, "Are you decorating it? Are you in the rabbit hole, actually decorating it? Okay, I'll sit with you in there for a while." And he will come into this, but what if this and that, and I haven't got that job, so what's happening? And he'll be like, are we decorating it? He'll just throw it in. Like, are we decorating? I'm like, yeah, sorry. So I'm mind reading. the worst case scenario. So how can we just go, can we stop decorating? Can we just climb out, leave it for a while? We'll probably be back, but just for a minute, let's step outside and let's get away from that crazy magical tunnel that we're, but I worry about I worry what she's going to say. And has she ever said? Has she ever told you? Did he ever say? No, but I'm thinking that, but that never happened. Oh yeah, okay. And I love learning. I love learning stuff still. Yeah, maybe that's another attractive thing about the acting business, how it mirrors for me with therapy as well, that you're constantly learning. No show is the same as the last one, no client is the same, they're completely unique, and I need to keep continually learning about my professional development. There's a requirement, an ethical requirement for me to keep developing my craft as a therapist, as there is as an actor. And it means as well keeping on top of the business side of it. This business we call showbiz.
From your counselling, what do you think is the most prominent struggle that you see, and do you have any advice?
It really is so different for everybody, because everybody's completely unique. For me, if we're thinking about that we mentioned it before, didn't we, that word grounding, I follow that way of thinking. I'm quite passionate about mindfulness, creating some kind of ritual, or that might sound a bit too serious, but some kind of something that can ground you, that can take you out of that nervous system
crazy that can just stop.
And then it did stop. This is editing Mandy again. The video cut out. My phone died. So I'm gonna wrap up here. I hope you do find something that grounds you in this rapid world and be able to disconnect your identity from your career and find true joy in creating. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Helen, so much for being on my poddy. I've learned so much speaking to her. She's so wise and so lovely. I hope that her kindness and her warmth touch you today. Love you all. Sorry this was an odd one. See you in the next one.